Welcome to the Black Appalachian Coalition's podcast entitled Black Remembering, where we will bring to you the heavy and the hope across the Ohio River Valley. We want to remember who we are, where we've come from. We want to speak to the oral history of what we've done, what we've achieved. We want to speak to the ills that we have experienced, while also finding solutions to those problems, those issues. We want to deal with the narrative that has kept us deeply rooted in despair. Now we want to punch through that narrative and stand up and say, we are remembering our Black past, and we are rooted, and we are here to stay. Welcome to Black Remembering. We hope that you find your place, your space, and your voice in this podcast.
This is Kenyatta Patterson with Black Appalachian Coalition, and we're here this morning with Dr. Alisha Alls, and she's running for Warren City School Board. I want her to introduce herself now, though. I want to hear from you, sister. Who is Dr. Alisha Alls?
Oh, man. Well, hello. Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it. Who is Dr. Alicia Alls? Let's see. Well, first, I am a Warren native. I am a mother of twin girls. They are 10 years old.
Yes.
I am a doctor of education. I received my doctorate in organizational leadership with an emphasis in K-12 education, studying the retention of Black teachers. I got that last March. I have a master's in special education. I was a special education teacher for about 3 years, and I've kind of always been within the education realm. Even when I was younger, I was a tutor. I helped volunteer with students to help them read, and I just have always been involved in education in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
I am a entrepreneur. I own 3 businesses,
Yes.
one of which I started for my twin daughters, so they have their own business. I have my 2, and then they have 1. I currently work at a local community college as a student success coach. I was a former therapeutic behavioral support worker, so I work with mental health at a mental health facility here in town. I'm an executive member of the OWOW board, and I am a board member of Fine Arts Council of Trumbull County.
You have accomplished so much in the time you have been on this earth. Thank you for all that you have done, all that you're doing, and all that you are on your way to do. So being in those spaces of childhood development and working with special needs, what do you think we can do to truly heal the legacies through childhood development? Because that's where it starts, right? In the childhood, like what we see, what we go through, what we hear, what we learning is teaching us the whole time. How do we get into those spaces without overstepping, if you will?
I think as an individual, it's tough, but you always have to start somewhere. As a community, I think it's important for us to understand and realize that healing has to take place.
Yes, it has to.
It is very important because as adults, sometimes that healing hasn't taken place, so you don't connect well with the children. You don't allow them to be able to go through life without getting what you've already gone through.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like you have that cut and now you're bleeding on them because you have not properly healed. So being able to heal yourself so that you can effectively raise your children and educate them and show them something different, give them hope.
Yes.
A lot of times they don't have hope, and they don't see that in their own home. So if someone in the community can show them hope, that like honestly, that's a large portion as to why I'm running for office, because I want them to be able to see something different. I encounter so many children that are like, I ain't getting out of warrant. I'm not doing nothing different. But if you don't see anything different, you're not going to understand that you can shoot for beyond the stars. But a lot of times people will say, oh, the sky's the limit. We would not have astronauts if the sky was the limit. You can go beyond that. And for me, I feel like as an individual, being able to go out and show the world life and show the world happiness and love and something that they may not be getting in their own household is important to me. So on an individual level, just being that change is important. Showing them different, showing them that, hey, you don't have to go down this world. Having important conversations. I ran into a student one time and I asked her, I said, well, what do you want to do with yourself later on? She was only in 7th grade, but I feel like I've been getting the question of, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? Since I was a kid. She told me that nobody had ever asked her.
Yeah, I hear that
a lot. It was 7th grade, and I was like, nobody's ever, she's like, no, I never thought about it. So having these important conversations when you're young, instilling in them that, hey, it may not happen in an instant. No, we're not going to get rich unless we hit the lottery or something in a moment. But you have to work towards it, and sometimes it's not going to be fun. But in order for them to get the desired result and be able to be successful and mentally stable, emotionally stable, financially stable, it takes a village. Like we need to go back to it takes a village. We need mama, we need auntie, uncle, dad. We need all of them to come together and be able to love on our kids and show them that they're important. And I don't think a lot of times the kids get that love. And being in the schools, it's important not only for the home life, it's important for educators to understand that as well. If a kid has a horrible home life, they're not focused on that test. They're not focused on what you're talking about because that's irrelevant to them. Yes, it's important to learn how to read and do math, but if they're wondering what's going on at home because it's a horrible situation, you have to be cognizant and aware of that. So being able to, in a sense, love on them while you're at school. Understand, have important conversations. How are you feeling today? Not just, hey, sit down and do your work. What's going on? Can I help you? How can I help you? Because we don't ask those questions. It's just sit
expecting
down.
them to
be quiet.
Be able to just do it. Not even think about where they at mentally. What's going on up in there because you're not asking the question. And not hearing what they're saying without them saying a word. Got to hear beyond what they're saying and what they're doing. You have to, it's important that you're paying attention because you're in the position to do just that. Absolutely. That's amazing because you touched on some things. I had a conversation with my grandkids, and they're in seniors, and one of them is a senior in high school, and the other one is a junior. So I'm asking them the questions, and they told me the same thing. Nobody ever asked them that. And so they spending the weekends with me now. They're, we're doing different things and I'm teaching them and I'm asking the questions, getting inside their head and then even reading and listening beyond their words. I mean, you can tell me you're okay all day. That's not what I'm hearing. You know what I'm saying? But they told me that when I asked them the question of, what can we do as adults to help you all succeed? What is that? Like they said, listen. Everybody want me to listen to them, but they don't want to listen to me.
You're supposed to be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that stifles them as their creativity. It stifles their voice. And then when they get older, they feel like they don't have a voice. Or they feel like they can't speak out on, hey, I feel wrong.
Yeah.
So they just continue to take abuse. And I mean, I'm not saying that that's abuse, but it really is.
In a sense. It
continues as they get older. And it's rough. You need to be able to have respectful conversations with your child where they understand, yes, you can tell me how you feel in a respectful manner. That doesn't mean everything's going to happen your way.
That part, but at least I know.
We can have these these conversations. So I know, hey, if I said this to you and I hurt your feelings, I can say something a different way.
Yeah.
So I can continue to build you up and you don't feel torn down at the end of the day. But those conversations will have to happen.
We just have to talk to them. We just have to pull on them. We have to bring them into the conversations of what we know, what we've learned, and let them form their own opinion. Not putting it on them so I'm not going to let you do that because I don't want you to. Let them make their own decision in that, because they just might surprise you and make a whole nother choice that you didn't make. Okay? Because you gave them the opportunity to figure it out. Gave them some tools and then step back and let them figure it out instead of trying to shape and mold them in a way that you want to see them and allow them to be who God created them to be.
And a lot of kids don't get that because the parent is so lost. And even as a young child, you don't understand why your parent is doing the things that they do, whether good or bad. You don't understand because you don't have full capacity to say, oh, they're upset because they're upset with themselves.
Yeah.
They have no idea. They just know that you're yelling at them or beating on them, so they don't understand.
They don't understand.
They truly don't get, and it makes it hard because then they grow up with issues of their own because of the issues that the parent has. I really feel like healing has to take place. Mm-hmm. Healing has to happen as an individual, as a community, just being able to understand. And I tell people all the time, I'm a huge proponent of therapy.
Yes.
You can go to church and you can go to therapy.
Yes.
Simultaneously.
At the
you
same
cannot have to be like, I cannot go to therapy because I go to church.
No.
And it's not about somebody being in your business.
It's not.
It's really not. It's about trying to dig deep with someone that is trained to do so.
Yeah, because
sometimes
we suppress those things.
Out, you didn't even know.
Yeah, because we just suppress them so deep down, trying to run from it, trying not to face it, and it become those hidden places that can be used for other things. I know that it started with me in my home, because if the way I show up with my daughter is the same way my mom was showing up with me, and I didn't realize I was doing the very same thing. We have to validate these children and let them know that your voice matters. I want to hear from you. It matters what you think. It matters what you feel. It matters what you're going through. I care. Because they are our future. That is, I can't say that enough. It's going to take some people that's not going to give up on them. That's going to stand firm with them and teach them how to walk all over again. Unlearn some things that they've learned that's now harmful to their being. You have wrote an inspirational statement, I'm going to call it. It says, when you feel broken, remember even mosaics are formed from broken pieces. I love that. I love that because it's beautiful. The end result is beautiful. But it had to be shattered, otherwise it couldn't be a mosaic. It had to be shattered or you wouldn't be fully who you were.
You are.
You had to go through it to come out on the other side. Yeah, those beautiful broken pieces. Dr. Alisha Alls. Yeah, she's here, y'all. She here, y'all. Yeah.
Trying to make a difference.
She is making a difference. You already tapped in. You tapped into that part of you who you know God has called you to be. So you already doing. So, ain't no more trying. You already doing. You already walking it out. You claim that. You walk in that because that's who you are. Thank you, my sister, for meeting with me and talking with the Black Appalachian Coalition. We appreciate your voice being heard, for you being open and honest and willing to tell us your story and your journey. Yes, what a beautiful journey.